There was just some beautiful words spoken then, and one of a profound sentence that Ameed said was, "All the ego wants is love."
Mm.
Acts in a distorted way to get the love,
Yeah, totally,
but that's all the
totally.
ego wants. When we think of it that way, that's all the
Mm,
ego wants is love,
mm,
and that's all we need to
mm,
give is love. And
yeah,
the particular example that I gave, it is about like that unconditional love is loving someone who doesn't love you,
yeah,
who,
totally,
who doesn't even like you,
totally,
who
totally,
dislikes you. So,
totally.
I had a lady come into my field recently because I haven't experienced this for a long time. And I was wondering why this sort of energy is flitting around me. Like, why
Mm,
is this happening?
mm,
Now, during Mid's response, it's very clear that's
mm,
because that's what I'm asked to do and to step into
yeah.
that loving people who don't like you. Welcome to Galactic Guidance, the show that channels the wisdom of beings from higher realms. Join us as we tap into the cosmic consciousness and receive messages of clear guidance to help us navigate our spiritual evolution on planet Earth. So sit back, relax, and let's connect into the higher frequency. Hello, beautiful people. I'm very excited about this week's episode of Galactic Guidance, where Marcus Bird is channeling Ameed, a higher dimensional being from an advanced planet. I ask Ameed two relevant questions that are relevant for your life. Question number one: when people are asking us for money or resources because they have this belief in lack, when we give them that money or resource, does that mean we are then buying into their belief system and therefore bringing that energy towards us? That was the first part of the interview, which was absolutely fascinating. Question number two: when people are seeking an apology from us, but they're seeking it from their ego, if we apologize, even though our perception is that we haven't done anything wrong, does that inflate their ego persona? What is the higher perspective position to hold in this area? So both these answers are really beautiful answers. It shifted me, and I felt like a release of energy from my body when I felt the answers. So check it out. Share it with people who need to hear these answers and these messages too, as we together elevate the consciousness of mankind. Sending you so much love. Hello, Marcus Bird.
Hey, Eleni. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. I'm fantastic. Thank you very much.
Really
Always
excited.
fantastic to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited about today's episode. I've got a
Good.
very interesting question to ask
We love interesting
Ameed that
questions.
I've actually been pondering on yesterday.
Is that
So
right?
I think this question is going to be very relevant to many people.
Okay.
So whenever you're
Okay.
ready to go into that state and connect
Exciting.
in.
All right. I will do that. No problem.
So Marcus is now getting into the state of connecting to a higher dimensional being called Ameed. And the wonderful thing about the way that Marcus channels is that he is an unconscious channel. He does not have any clue as to what I'm going to ask Ameed, so that his egoic perspective does not get in the way. This information is coming through from a high dimensional being, and I can't wait to have a chat to Ameed.
It is with the much of the joyness that we be in this of the presenceness with you, Miss Eleni. Much of the joyness. This is much of sacredness and much specialness to be here, to be of the service, to be of the sharing, to be part of this much of the sensational universal construct We are much of the joyness that we are being here in your presence.
Oh, I just felt into the energy that you brought in, Ameed, and it's just beautiful. So I was just basking in it for a moment.
Mm,
Okay, it was just absolutely lovely. So I have got
mm,
a question for you that I have been thinking about actually since yesterday. I was listening to a spiritual teacher online, someone who I respect greatly, and he mentioned a story whereby he was asked from a friend to lend him money. And he did lend him money, but then he regretted that, saying that he wished that he didn't. So because he felt that by lending him the money, he was buying into his lack perceptions. And when you buy into somebody else's lack beliefs, then you're bringing that energy into your own world. As I was thinking about this concept about buying into other people's lack beliefs, how do we reconcile that with walking down the road and there are people begging for money and me feeling that the loving thing to do is to give them money because I've got some and they don't. And in the example that I gave with this spiritual teacher, my inner knowing is that I always ask myself the question, what would Jesus do? I cannot imagine that Jesus would turn his back on a friend or anybody or any stranger or any person asking for money. So, how do we reconcile these two belief systems about one being, well, if you lend people money when they're asking for it, you're actually buying into their belief system and therefore attracting that energy into your world, versus I really would love to help this person because they do have this belief in lack. I don't. So let's just help them as much as we can. Would love your perspective on this, Ameed.
mm. Yes, is much of the interesting of the question, for this is an integration question. This is a connection of the question. And this is part of the journey aspect of your reality to becoming much more one with the universal beings in a universe teeming with the life forms. What you must understand is in our of the existence, we are freely of the givingness, we are freely of the sharingness. This is one of the aspects which you are being in the involvement within, is that this is not of the givingness, but much more of the sharingness. In your examples, what you wish to be doing is aligning and tuning in the frequency of the intention of your actions that you are processing, that you are playing within. When you are giving of a sharing nature, when you are of a frequency that is much more of a connected, co-creative, sharing nature, then you are not going to be in the position where you are being of the partners of their energetic construct. Therefore, you're not going to be part of a dropping of your frequency, so that you are also in that of the lack frequency that they are within. This is not possible. But if you are not playing in with the resonant frequency, not playing in with the resonant consciousness, then you can be shifted into that frequency you talk of, that is part of their evolutionary journey construct, what you would be of the considering their lesson. This we can be of the understanding, but when you are of the sharing, and most of the importance is not the money aspect that you are giving, but much more of the energetic aspect that you are giving. When you have, when you are gifting with or sharing with the correct of the energetic resonance, then you are not part of this process. What you are talking about is the influence that one other maybe is having for the for yourself, that you are gifting or giving of the money, and therefore you are lowering your frequency and vibration to be at their level of their lack, or what you would be considering of their lack. But if you can be of the consciousness, where you are assisting in the lifting, you are helping in the expansion of the evolutionary process of that beingness, then you are not going to be drawn into their energetic quality of the lackness, but must be remembering that it is not the money that you are gifting. What you are being of the gifting is of the energetic quality. If you can be of the consciousness that you are sharing of the energetic quality, then this is changing the evolutionary process. So if you have an energetic quality where you are not in the space of the lackness, that your consciousness is in the space of the abundance, then what you will be processing, what you will be gifting, what you will be of the sharing, is that abundance consciousness. That then is gifted through the money construct, the money exchange. But if you can hold your resonant frequency and your consciousness in your awareness of the abundance, then you are sharing that energetic quality and assisting that person to be of the expanded nature of who they truly are. One of the things you must remember when you are gifting, when you are sharing of the money to people who are like you are saying in the streets, then the most important thing you can be of the gifting is of the connection. One of the things that we be of the noticing that you will be doing is that you will be walking past people who are in that of the lackness, and you'll be feeling of the sorriness for the construct that they are finding themselves in. And most of the time you are throwing of the money into there of the container. This is not of the sharing. This is not of the gifting. This is being of the helping you not to be feeling of the guiltiness, to not be feeling of the consciousness where you are feeling of the sorriness. This is not what the soul aspect of the being is requesting. You are much of the better to be of in the conscious communication and connection with that being, and then be of the sharing of the money aspect. Once you have made of the connection, once you have made of the conversation, you are not just uplifting the opportunity for that being to be of the feedingness, but you are lifting that being up of the conscious opportunity for them to be in a different state of the realityness. This is what you are truly wanting to be doing, not just be satisfying of the guiltiness, not just being of the feeling better for the self. This is what most of you are being of the doing, is you are trying to make yourself feel of the betterness, and therefore you are just throwing of the money towards that person, hoping that that will make you be of the feeling better. This is not what is required in this of the situation. If you wish to be a giving of the money, then you must be also willing to be giving of the energy, be willing to give of the connection, be willing to give of the communication. This is much more a universal construct of awakened and expanded consciousness.
Thank you, Ameed. I totally agree with you that as much as possible, when I see that situation on the street, I come down, speak to them, have eye contact, because I understand that that is what actually matters. So from my interpretation of what you just said, it's not about the sharing of the actual money. It's about the sharing of our energetic consciousness and allowing that to transfer through to the other person, and maybe even felt by the other person. And we've got to make sure that spiritual ego doesn't get in the way as well in that situation, because I have seen it come in, and because the ego tries to use every opportunity to come in. So I totally agree. So in the example that I gave about somebody coming and requesting money, so that somebody who's borrowing money, so not somebody on the street, but someone who's a friend who's borrowing money, would you agree that the loving response would actually be to share that money with them and to share your energetic vibes with them as well?
There's much of the importance that you do not do one without the other. When you just be giving of the money aspect, then you can be going into that consciousness, that feeling that you are doing not of the rightness of the things, that you're being taken of the advantageness. We see this as being of the happening all the time. But when you are giving of your energetic state, when you are uplifting this being, not just by giving of the money, but by giving of your energetic construct to help them to be stepping into of the abundant space, which is the truth of the representation of who you are. You are very much of the creator beings. This is one of the lessons that you are being in the learningness, that you are master creators of the universe. And therefore you can be in the creation space of whatever that you are wishing for. And if you are being of the luckiness, what you would be considering of the luckiness that you have of the abundance in your construct of the money, then being of the sharing is much of a goodness, but not just of the sharing, not just of the throwing the money to somebody, but the gifting of the consciousness, the gifting of the awareness of the abundant state, to help them to be a shifting in their their resonant field, be expanding into a state where they can be of the master creator space and be manifesting and materializing this construct that you be calling of the moneyness.
Perfect. I love it. So I have one more question, which is very similar in terms of the frequency of other people. I'll give an example because I feel that's the best way to get my question across. So there's a particular person who I believe, is operating from ego, from an egoic state, and has requested that I apologize to her for something that she feels that she needs an apology for. And, it's that is the question is, I know that she's operating from ego. I can see the ego. It's very, very strong in her. And she's asking for me to apologize. I actually am internally sending her love, but I don't feel that an apology is I feel like an apology is almost enabling her ego to become even stronger, as opposed to allowing her to see her ego. So your guidance on this perspective would also be appreciated.
This is much of the deepness of the question, for this is something that in the construct of your consciousness in this at the moment, you are getting much of the entanglement into. And we understand this construct that you wish to be of the shifting of energetic frequencies of others of your kind. We understand that you wish to be assisting them to be of the expansive nature and settle into more of who they are. But at the same time, you must be of the consideration of the higher, of the more expanded energetic construct, and not be what you be of the calling, fighting of the fire with the fire. You must be of the more of the expanded consciousness awareness, the more of the cosmic conscious awareness. So in this case, when you be of the thinking of this being, you must be of the thinking at a much more expanded awareness, and that this being is much in the painness. You must understand that the ego veil is a construct to assist you to be of the avoidance of much of the painness that you have been experienced in here, in this of the theme park. Part of the theme park here that you call of the earth structure is to be of the transitioning through of the pain. This is part of the theme park that you are of the experiencing. For you to be of the understanding, to be of the connection to be of the experience of a pain and suffering construct, so that you can be moving through and expanding past this this of the reality. This is one aspect of the universal construct of the journey that you participate in many, many of the theme parks that you will be of the visiting, that you have already been in the visiting of. Some of them have, many of them have different of the constructs. And this one you are existing through of the pain construct, of the suffering construct. In this of the case of your question and of this person, what you are experiencing is The ego construct protecting from more of the pain, from more of the suffering. This was one of the reasons why the ego was activated here in this planetary experience. So that when you are expanding through and when you are journeying past the ego construct, that you can heal all of the pain and suffering in one collective experience. So the ego has been constructed both as a protective mechanism, but also as a transition mechanism to be of the assistance for you to transition into much of the higher states of awareness. In this case, you must be looking at this situation from the cosmic conscious reality. And what does it take for you to be of the sorriness, to be of the apologeticness? But if you can do this by holding the expanded resonant frequency of who you truly are, then what it will help to do is it will help to guide and to lead and to assist in their expanded awareness of the consciousness and to be moving through of the ego state. One thing you are not here to do is to be of the teaching people of the lesson. You are here to be of the guidance. You are here to be of the sharingness. You are here to be of the mentorship through of the exampleness of your energetic constructed state. So if you can hold the higher constructed energetic state, the resonant field that is of the expanded awareness, then you can be connecting into the truth of you being of the sorriness or the not of the sorriness. But you're not here to be of the teaching of the lesson, because when you are doing of the teaching of the lesson, you are also playing with a bit of the ego of the stateness. But you can be a loving, someone who is of the hurting you. And this is one of the lessons that you will be experiencing, that you are being of the learning to love those that are not of the love of you. You are learning to be of the unconditional love state. This state takes you in a transitionary experience past of the ego-ness, expanded out past of the ego-ness. If you were to be in an unconditional loving state, what would you be doing in this situation, Miss Eleni?
Loving and sharing my love and apologizing.
This is much of a stable state of existence. When you are in a resistance field, which is what you are being of the experiencing in this moment, then you are causing disharmonic resonant patterns. So you are much of the affecting your ability to be in this of the love state. Therefore, the echo that you will be now experiencing is that you will be not having as much of it coming back of to you. You can be of the harmonic resonance that allows you to be in a state of being in what you call of the apology. Not that you are dropping your energy to go, oh, you are much of the betterness than me, and therefore I must be of the sorriness for you, but actually be of the expanded version of this, and that this is of the sorry of love. This is not of the sorry of anything but of the love. That you are an amazing, incredible of the being, that you are a master creator, and in this moment I am creating the harmonic resonant field. And in this case, for you, if you hear of the sorry, then you will be more in the harmonic state. Even though you are still existing in an ego surrounding where you think you are much of the betterness, that you think you're much of the highness. You must remember, as the ego state is sharing, it wants, it is requesting of love. Ego is always requesting of love. It is doing it in a disharmonic resonant pattern, but it is actually of the request of the love, because it is saying, I'm much of the better than anybody of the elseness. You must be of the loving me because I'm so much of the betterness. But this is not the true state of that love, and this is not the true state of receptivity for the love aspect, and this is much of the confusion state. Your gift in this moment. We talk about the money in the previous of the question, and that it is the sharing of this that is of the importance, not just of the money, but the energetic quality of what you are doing in the sharing state. So when you are in the apology, this is an apology of the love. This is an apology of expanded awareness, not necessarily of the apology of, I made much of a mistake and you are much of the better than me and I must be of the apology. This is much more the unconditional loving of the apology. And it is much like, I'm sorry that you have been in the hurt in the space. I'm sorry that you have had to be of the ego space to feel like you are worthy, that you are valid here in this theme park that we are both playing in. This is what I'm very much of the sorry for. And I am sending you the love so you don't have to be of the receptivity of the sorriness, that you don't have to be of the receptivity of the ego state. Here, you will now be feeling, if you feel into this of the state, Miss Eleni, you'll be feeling of the calm. You'll be feeling of the harmonic resonant field that is now created. This is of the peaceness. This is of the unity. This is of you connected to a universe teeming with life. This is how you become of the oneness.
Oh, wow. That's like a mic drop right there. Oh, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Ameed. Thank you so much.
Much of the pleasure. These are much of the good of the questions. For what we wish for you to all be of the experiencing is the harmonic resonance that you are feeling in the emotions of the calmness, of the gentleness, of the settledness. And you will be of the experiencing of people with the angerness, and people of the ego-ness, and people of the unsureness that will be coming at you. And your role here is to be of the stable nature, where you can just be and shift of the frequencies. What you must understand is when you're in this state, when the anger comes at you, when the energetic quality of the anger comes at you, or the energetic quality of the ego comes at you, you'll naturally be able to harmonize it before it hits into you, before it meets your resonant field and therefore disturbs your harmonic resonant state. You will be of the strengthness to be able to harmonize that energy field as it comes into your what you might call your view, or your resonant of the field, and therefore you will no longer allow those fields to destabilize you. You will be able to reflect back a stable nature, and that will be the effect that they will receive stability of the coming back. Therefore, they will be of the calmer nature. Therefore, they will drop out of the ego just a little bit. That a little bit of the lightness comes into them. They will then feel of the love, because this is what is driving of the behavior. The requirement for unconditional love, unconditional worth, unconditional evolution. This is much of the true desire of the soul aspect of your reality. Once this is of the happening, you become one once again. And we begin to sing the universal song, the one song. Then you become once again reunite with the universe teeming with of the life. This is where we can become one once again. And you feel the harmony. You feel of the harmonic resonance. This is of what we are wishing for you to be of the experience.
Thank you.
Much love. Oh, hello. No, that was nice. I'm not sure exactly what was said, but I feel nice. I'm left with a bit of niceness today.
There was like this
beautiful
release from me. Yeah, there was just some beautiful words spoken then. And a profound sentence that Ameed said was, all the ego wants is love. Acts in a distorted way to get the love.
Yeah, totally.
But that's all the ego wants. When we think of it that way, that's all the ego wants is love. And that's all we need to give is love. And the particular example that I gave, it is about like that unconditional love is loving someone who doesn't love you.
Yeah, totally.
Who doesn't even like you.
Totally.
Who dislikes you. So,
Totally.
I had a lady come into my field recently, because I haven't experienced this for a long time. And I was wondering why this sort of energy is flitting around me, like, why is this happening? Now, during Ameed's response, it's very clear That's
Mm.
because that's what I'm asked to do and to step into
Yeah.
that loving people who don't like you.
Yeah. 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 I actually had an experience yesterday exactly on this, and part of me was like, no, no, I'm not standing for this. And then another part of me, when I felt into it and I had a bit of a chat to Ameed and I just sort of dropped into it, I went, no, give, and my story was I had someone who's very angry with me, someone who's sort of related. And then and they haven't spoken to me for weeks and weeks. And then out of the blue, they ring up and want help with something. So my initial response was no, why should I? You haven't spoken to me and I've asked to speak to you. I've tried to resolve it, but you don't want to. Now when you need something. And so I did that whole piece, where you went, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I relaxed into it and I just went into this space of expanded consciousness. And I went, you know what? Yes, because they're angry because of not feeling like they're being loved, whether it's me or someone else or the world or whatever. And actually, it was a really beautiful experience because just some stuff came out from them and I felt how beautiful they were and I got reconnected with it. So rather than connecting to the anger and frustration and you don't respect me or whatever, we do, I actually connected into a deeper version of who they were and who I was. And it was kind of a nice experience, even though the
Mm.
thing hasn't been resolved, which is, it'll do what it'll do. But just where I let go of my guard and let go of that and just sort of
Mm.
floated into it, just changed everything. It was really interesting. So I get it. I get what you're saying.
It's really, really interesting because
Yeah.
from my perspective, like I've already sent, this email of apology, and then they're
Yeah.
coming back and they said, yeah, but you didn't apologize for this, this, and this. And so, you know, obviously my ego was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
What? I've already apologized. Like, what am I doing now? Enabling your ego to be even stronger? But what Ameed said is that the only way to disarm their ego is just to throw even more love at them.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, if this is emails and even using those words, maybe, you know, just using loving language,
Yeah.
maybe as you apologize, right? So
Yeah.
that, because I think, and I don't know what Ameed thought about this, but my thought is, you don't want to go, often apologies feel like this. I'm so sorry. I'm just sorry. I didn't mean
Exactly.
to, right? When actually you can go sorry from this place. Like, I love
Yeah.
you and I'm sorry that you felt that way. And I'm sorry that you took it that way. And I'm sorry that you had that experience.
Mm.
Not, I'm sorry I mucked up or I'm horrible or I'm mean or because that's another
Mm.
ego sort of silly game that we play, right? Because then I go down and I go, oh, I'm hopeless and useless and you're right and I'm sorry, right? And that's just that silly game. But if you can, I think, come from that cosmic conscious state, which is, I just love you so much and I'm so sorry you've had that experience. And I'm so sorry those words hurt you. And I'm so sorry that, you took it
Mm.
that way. I'm just sorry. It comes from a love
Mm.
sorry, not a, oh my God, you're right and I'm wrong
Yeah.
sorry, right?
Yeah,
That's
and
that's
I
the
totally
feeling.
I totally feel that difference in that energy because that sorry that you're talking about is the sorry that I would say to my partner, like to my
Yeah,
intimate partner. So if there's
totally.
anything happening between us, we always jump to really sorry for everything you're experiencing because I genuinely am. Like we don't want any disharmony between us. And
No.
so from that place, we go straight away to connection and love and forgiveness
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
unity. And
Yeah,
so it's coming
yeah.
from that
That's the
place.
sorry. Yeah, I agree. I think it is. There's such a different energy with that, you know? I think what I'm feeling as we're talking about this, there's that real sorry from an ego point of view where I'm sort of sorry, not sorry, blur. Right? You should say sorry to me, or that unconditional loving sorry, which is much more, it's actually not about me.
No.
And I'm sorry for your experience in general. Like, I'm sorry you've had to come to this state. I'm sorry you feel this way, right? It's not about me. It's
Yeah.
actually not about me. Now, obviously, if you have done wrong, right, and you mucked up, or so, of course we say sorry from that
Hmm.
place. But when it's
Yeah.
something like this where
Yeah. It's a
you don't actually think,
perspective issue.
well, I don't know whether this is true, right? It's true from their perspective and not
Mm.
mine. We can still say sorry, right?
Yeah.
But from a general awareness point of view of, I'm so sorry you've had this experience.
Mm.
Not I'm sorry I caused the experience, because I don't believe that's the case, right? Because so often we're just a reflection of what torment is already going on for someone. And I love that saying, some people are angry at the world and sometimes you represent the world. I love that saying. I don't even know who said it. I can't even remember. And so then they overlay all their trauma and all their anger and all their frustration with the world onto you. And it's like, well, actually, that's a real cry for love and understanding, and we send that.
Absolutely. And where we are in the world, this is what we need to give more of.
Totally.
This is what we need to send out. So thank you, Marcus. And
Thank you, Eleni and
really
Ameed.
heartfelt messages that I really felt just
Yeah.
vibrate through my body,
Yeah.
and had this big release. So it was just
Beautiful.
absolutely beautiful. And if you are listening out there and you felt the same type of release, support these messages by sharing them with people that need to hear them.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. If you're apologizing for someone like Eleni is, just send them the clip at the same time. No, don't. I'm not sure that would work. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Bless. See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.